Should criminal law focus more on punishment or rehabilitation? Criminal law deals with crime and punishment. It pretends to aim for breaking the cycle of reoffending. It is a response to crime often dealt with years of punishment as prisoners rot in cells. If you want to reduce crime, you must change your outlook on how you react to crime, because the current punishment perspective is not helping. However, I believe it is most important to change our outlook on how we treat criminals through a humanist lens. While it might seem counterintuitive to design places like this for people who have committed crimes, give the people their dignity and let the statistics speak for themselves. Michael Foucault, in Discipline and Punish, argued that prisons mainly control and discipline people rather than reform them. He believed society should rethink punishment and focus more on behavior. On the other hand, we have Immanuel Kant, who believed criminals deserved harsh punishments because they are a threat to humanity, and chose to break the law with their level of autonomy. That punishment is morally necessary, and criminals deserve consequences for their actions. But the fault in this is that punishment does not maintain justice. Think of it this way. When society locks away an individual, it only breeds violence and anger. No one grows or reflects being trapped in a prison cell. More punishment does not always mean less crime. The birth of the prison is dehumanizing. A study from Norway in the 1990s noticed many prisoners released from prison became reoffenders. Instead of making their punishment stricter, they focused on rehabilitation. Two famous examples are the Halden and Bastoy prison. From the architecture to the prison guards, everything was completely redesigned. The prison held classes in technology, carpentry, languages, mechanics that resemble real jobs. Prison guards were trained as mentors and to guide. Most importantly, many inmates take part in cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, substance abuse treatments, mental health therapy, and even parenting classes. The United States, having just 5% of the world's population, make up 25% of the world's prison population, with 77% reoffending. Norway held a 20% recidivism rate, and in prisons like these, as low as 16%, the lowest in the world. While in the United States, criminal records often make unemployment exceedingly difficult, Norway redefines this, revolving around the idea that successful reintegration reduces crime. What is the point in living if I can't afford food on the table or a roof over my head? What is the point in trying to be a better version of myself when society won't let me live? Norway's employment rate after a sentence is 60 to 70%. Statistically, the justice system is flawed in most countries, mainly with their reaction to crime. One of the lowest crime rates exists alongside a humanist approach to criminals: rehabilitation. Designing these prison systems costs money, which is why most of these exist in Western Europe or Scandinavia. Considering their smaller inmate numbers and higher government spending allow for this to thrive. Prisons in the United States offer stricter investments into prisons. Realistically, it would be almost impossible for every prison to replicate the ones in developed economies. Address the root cause before punishment. Governments need to take accountability. I find it hilarious that governments put people in prisons when they steal after underfunding a poor neighborhood. Crime has proven to derive from psychological conditions. Crime is taught as a means of survival. This is not to say individuals have no responsibility, but rather nobody is born a criminal. Society should structure institutions so that the least advantaged members are not statistically disadvantaged. From this perspective, preventing crime means investing in education, healthcare, housing, and employment opportunities. It all begins in the environment. In the United States, neighborhoods with poverty rates above 30% often have violent crime rates 3 to 5 times higher than wealthy areas. Further research shows that 80 to 90% of juvenile offenders report that most of their friends have also been involved in crime. Disadvantaged individuals are often punished more harshly, raising moral concerns about systemic injustice. They do not have access to strong legal defenses. This cycle of poverty naturally leaves them pulled towards crime. If a government does not focus on punishment rather than rehabilitation, then shouldn't their justice systems be stricter and more consistent? In a perfect world, this means ambitious standards of evidence, equal sentencing rule, and strong legal defense rights. Although, in today's world, the justice system is flawed. We live in a society of corruption and greed. Where money could be spent on rehabilitation systems which have been proved to reduce crime, it isn't. Or money spent on education and funding public high schools where drug use amongst teenagers is not rare. Punishment satisfies the ego, which is one of the many reasons why governments prioritize it. Rehabilitation means perceiving criminals not just as what they are and what they've done, but what they have the potential to be.